So I'm going into Whole Foods to get some dinner, and maybe I will meet the man of my dreams.
This is the place you need to be frequenting to find husband material.
I always say I'm going to meet my husband at the Whole Foods Olive Bar because that's such a green flag. Like, he knows.
You hear this a lot now. The classic human ATM flex. She wants a partner who's already solved every financial problem. 6-figure income, 6 feet tall, 6-pack ABS, and somehow telepathy at Whole Foods. Sounds ridiculous. That's the point. Before we dive in, drop a comment. Are modern men more delusional, or is it the ladies? Hit like and subscribe. Let's get to 1 million subscribes this month so you don't miss what we expose next. Pause and picture it. Not a person, but a checklist. Not a partner, but an asset class. Must be able to pay for my lifestyle, read my mind in the organic aisle, and still be emotionally available by Tuesday. That energy tells you everything about entitlement and expectations today. Let's be blunt. When dating becomes a shopping list, you lose the human element. Wanting stability and ambition is normal. Wanting someone to be your private CFO, personal trainer, and psychic concierge all at once. That's fantasy economics, not relationship building. There's also a trade-off missing from the equation. High standards are fine, but standards without accountability become demands. Who's responsible for emotional labor, for real communication, for growth? If you expect a 6-figure income and a mind reader at the checkout, you better show up with real value too, not just a trophy hunting vibe. And culturally, this is part of a bigger split. The soft life fantasy meets hypergamy. People want peak comfort without the compromise, peak status without the effort. That creates cycles of disappointment. For the men being reduced to wallets, and for the women chasing an ideal that doesn't exist in real people. So here's the hard truth. Relationships aren't transactions. If you want a partner, stop treating humans like ATMs or vending machines. Show up with standards, yes, but also with empathy, responsibility, and honesty. That's how you build something real.
I think I cracked the code on where to find really hot guys. Whole Foods. They were everywhere.
So I just went to Whole Foods. Mind you, I live in Tribeca, where there's a lot of hot men.
Today, we are going to IKEA. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking there aren't any...
Strange, isn't it? Women can openly say, "Oh, I was too nervous to approach him." And everyone nods along, validates it, and even calls it cute. But when a man uses that same exact excuse, suddenly he's labeled weak, insecure, or not confident enough to be alpha. This is the double standard nobody wants to talk about. Men are expected to walk into rejection like it's nothing, as if constant criticism doesn't weigh on their mental health. Women get the privilege of hiding behind nerves, while men are told that fear makes them unworthy. Think about how lopsided that is. If a woman hesitates, it's excused as shyness. If a man hesitates, it's proof he's not desirable. Same behavior, opposite social reaction. That's not equality. That's entitlement, hiding in plain sight. And what does this create? Pressure cookers of men who either stop trying altogether or turn bitter after years of rejection. Meanwhile, women get to say, well, if he really liked me, he would have come up to me. It's an unwinnable game. At the core, this is about accountability. If both genders' admitted nerves are human, the playing field would be fair. But as long as men are mocked for the same vulnerability women are protected for, you'll keep seeing resentment grow. And the irony, women say they want emotionally open men, yet punish them the second they show real human fear. That's the hypocrisy. Same excuse to different rule book.
It's a place to meet people. I go every single day looking like this, and I must say, the men, I'm attracted to men, are very good looking. And Whole Foods, it kind of has me thinking I should not go in sweats.
Thirsty much?
This is literally the most beautiful man I've ever seen. I'm probably not gonna talk to him because I'm a nervous wreck, but
Here's the wild part. A lot of these women aren't even approaching men with genuine interest. They're not walking up with, "Hey, I like you." No, they're circling around, pretending to shop, asking for directions, or throwing out some vague question, all while expecting the guy to magically decode it as, "I'm flirting with you. Come chase me." Let's be real. Men are not mind readers. They can't scan through hidden signals in aisle 7 at Whole Foods and instantly know that a casual "where's the almond milk" actually translates to "please approach me, I'm interested." That's not confidence. That's ambiguity. And here's the kicker. If he doesn't pick up on it, he's blamed for being clueless, socially awkward, or not a real man. But if he does misinterpret it and shoots his shot, suddenly she can pull back and say, "Oh, I was just asking for directions." Don't flatter yourself. That's a lose-lose setup for men. This whole dynamic exposes a deeper cultural contradiction. Women say they want equality, but when it comes to initiating, most still outsource the risk to men. They want to signal interest without ever having to own it. That way, rejection isn't on them, it's on him for not reading the room. Here's the truth. You can't have it both ways. If you want men to be bold, meet them halfway with clarity. If you're just wandering around waiting for someone to notice you, don't complain when no one reads your mind. Relationships are built on communication, not telepathy. And until that shift happens, this game of subtle hints will keep leaving everyone frustrated.
Acting like fine single men just be everywhere. Y'all be like, you never know, you might meet him at the grocery store. I ain't never seen a fine single man at Trader Joe's. Ever. I ain't never seen a fine single man at Publix. Ever. The boys be Instacarting. They don't be at the grocery store.
A conversation so many women aren't ready to have. Without blaming men, why can't
The blame game is truly universal. You can pack your bags, fly to any corner of the world, and the script barely changes. Women pointing fingers at men for everything wrong in their lives. If she's unhappy, men aren't stepping up. If she's single, men are intimidated by strong women. If her career doesn't fulfill her, patriarchy held me back. Over and over, the storyline centers men as both the problem and the solution. But here's the hard truth. Accountability doesn't cross borders. It's not a Western problem or an Eastern problem. It's a human one. And yet men carry a unique burden. They're expected to absorb the blame, fix the circumstances, and provide the answers, all while rarely being given the space to voice their own struggles. That cycle is dangerous. Why? Because when you outsource responsibility, you also outsource power. If everything bad in your life is because of men, then you've surrendered control over your own choices. That's victimhood disguised as empowerment. And the irony, the same women chanting independence often default to blaming men when independence gets uncomfortable. That contradiction is why we see so much confusion in modern dating and relationships. The truth is, men aren't responsible for every twist of fate in a woman's life, just like women aren't responsible for every struggle men face. Growth requires ownership, not scapegoating. And until that's embraced on both sides, the blame game will stay global.
Over there. That's the guy I was telling you
That's
about.
him.
Yeah.
Go shoot your shot.
Or-
Or he's right there.
Okay.
I think you should.
Okay, I'm gonna do
The fuck?
You did it? You did
I
it?
made it so
Did
obvious.
you? He saw?
He saw.
Okay. As long as he saw.
So obvious.
Okay, good.
How?
Just walked to Whole Foods, did some grocery shopping, and like obviously living in New York, you want to like romanticize every second of your life. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I met my husband over in Whole Foods over rosé and like fucking asparagus,
You need help.
a la Cody Co. But then I realized I am wearing this, a turtleneck, oversized, and gray sweatpants, and I don't look cute. But my hair looks good actually, so that's all that matters.
What is the best age to start finding a husband? When you're tired of working. Some are tired of working faster than others. When you tired of dating and working and paying your own bills, that's when, okay. Some ladies it's younger, some ladies it's older. Whenever you tired of working and paying your own bills, that's when you need to start getting serious about marriage and finding a good husband.
The modern dating goal looks something like this. I deserve Ryan Gosling the hope to do absolutely nothing to make it happen. Just exist. And somehow Mr. Perfect is supposed to appear, pursue relentlessly, and never stop proving himself. This is the hyper-reality so many live in now, influenced by Hollywood romance, TikTok fairy tales, and endless validation on Instagram. The standard for men has climbed into the stratosphere, while the effort to actually earn that level of partner has flatlined. Think about it. Ryan Gosling represents status, looks, charisma, and resources. But the women chasing that fantasy rarely ask, am I living at the same level I'm demanding? Because if you want a high-value man, you can't bring bare minimum energy. Yet, we've built a culture that tells women simply existing is enough, that beauty alone should guarantee access to elite men. But here's the contradiction. If everyone is holding out for Ryan Gosling, what happens to the average guy? He gets overlooked, dismissed, or labeled not good enough, even if he's stable, loyal, and genuinely invested. And what happens to women? They waste years waiting for a fantasy that never materializes, then get bitter when reality doesn't match the dream. This is entitlement disguised as optimism, hope without action, standards without sacrifice. And in the end, it leads to disappointment on both sides. Because let's be honest, Ryan Gosling isn't walking into Whole Foods to pick up a stranger. The takeaway: stop chasing unicorns while doing nothing to attract them. Relationships, like success, demand reciprocity. If you want the best, bring your best. Bring your best. Otherwise, you're not aiming for love, you're just daydreaming.
Ladies, let's talk today about meeting men at Home Depot, because this seems to be a popular subject on TikTok, and I thought it could use a little matchmaker expertise here. All right, let's do this. First thing I want you to keep in mind is when you go to a Home Depot, or I'm going to throw in Lowe's, I'm going to throw in Target, I'm going to throw in high-end grocery stores. These are all great places to do some man hunting. When you go, make sure you're going on the weekend, not during the week, because we would hope he'd be working a job somewhere, hopefully a good job somewhere, and he wouldn't have the time to be roaming around Home Depot. Okay, that's number one. Number two, what I'm going to say here is no surprise, but make sure if you're going to go to any of these places, the Home Depot, the Lowe's, the Target, the grocery store, that you go to a high-end area of town. Why would you want to go to a low-end Home Depot to meet low-end men when you could go to a high-end part of town, a Beverly Hills location, the high-end area, and wherever you live, as opposed to the worst location possible for a Home Depot, right? So go out of your area. Go out of your area for better grocery stores, for a better Target, for a better Lowe's, for a better Home Depot, because you're going to meet better men there, all right? Now,
if she came up behind me in Home Depot, tapped my shoulder, and asked a question, my first move wouldn't be flirt. It'd be scanning guard. Who's filming? Is this a prank? Is someone gonna clip this and make me the punchline tomorrow? Is security watching? Is it about to blow up on TikTok? That reflex, it's real. We live in an era where a single awkward moment can turn into an online pylon, or worse, an accusation that ruins a guy's life before he even says hello. So men aren't being paranoid for fun. They're being defensive because the risk-reward has changed overnight. A handshake used to be harmless. Now it can be a headline. But let's be honest, this instinct creates its own problem. Treating every approach like a trap turns everyday social interactions into mini threat assessments. You end up defensive, closed off, and less human. No one wins when normal courtesy becomes a suspect move. Here's the middle path. Be cautious, not hostile. If you're a man and feel wary, good. Keep boundaries and stay calm. If you're a woman and want to connect, be clear and low drama. A smile, direct eye contact, or hey, can I ask you something? Reduces ambiguity and lowers the chance of alarm. Culture shifted. Social media made theater out of life. So we adapt with common sense, clearer signals, and a little basic empathy. That's how we stop playing defenses and start having normal conversations again.
I want to remind you of, if you see these guys, especially on the weekends at Target or grocery shopping, more likely that they are single if they're there on the weekends and by themselves. So keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to Home Depot or Lowe's, you're never going to know because that's usually a place where most men are by themselves. All right. So what are you going to do if you see like this super cute guy in front of you in line or next to you, or he's coming towards you? You got to do something. You're there. You got to seize the opportunity. Okay. So WWGD, what would Gina do? Here's what I'm going to tell you Gina would do. Now, Gina would do, because I operate on no fear, right? This is, you live one time, you got to make it count, and you're there. I would tap, tap, tap that guy on the shoulder if he was in front of me in line, and he's going to look around. He's going to say, what does this old lady want? But let's pretend that's not the case. I would say, hey, you know what? I see that you got that, Sherwin-Williams paint. I was looking, but I couldn't find it. Where did you find that? Make something up. Anything, it doesn't matter what you say. Ask for his help with something. Ask if he knows where something is. You've got to open the door. If you want to go to these places and meet men in real life, a lot of times the very best men are not the ones that are going to approach you. The ones that approach you are usually the D-bags that approach every single woman. And that's not the guy you want. You want the guy that might think you're cool but might be more respectful and not approach you. So you've got to do something. You've got to seize the moment. You've got to strike up a conversation. Okay?
Sorry, ladies, men are onto you now, and not just recently. We've been watching, learning, and comparing notes for a long time. The days of mystery are fading. We cracked Germany's Enigma machines. We landed on the moon. So don't think we haven't cracked the code on makeup, Spanx, filters, and the quiet desperation hiding under the "I'm just living my best life" caption. What used to be invisible is now obvious. Social media pulled back the curtain. Dating apps exposed the math. Men can now see the patterns, the curated image, the inflated standards, the performance of having it all together while secretly hoping for rescue. It's not bitterness, it's awareness. And that awareness changes everything. Men who understand the illusion stop simping. They stop funding lifestyles that don't respect them. They stop competing for attention with guys who are never serious. They start looking for authenticity instead of presentation. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Deception is a two-way street. Men exaggerate status, women enhance appearance. But men are finally waking up to the cost of chasing the illusion. They're starting to value peace over chaos, substance over style. So when we say, we're on to you, it's not a threat. It's a shift. The blinders are off. The game has been decoded. And in the end, that's actually good for both genders. Because when the illusions fall, only honesty and real connection are left on the table.
Going after the handsome guys? Stop. Stop. Especially the handsome guys who know that they're handsome, they have a complex. I'm not kidding. I promise you they do. And God forbid, they're even better looking than you girls. Also, what's looks gonna do for